overseas now to an ominous declaration by Iran, that country's president saying it's at, quote, total war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe. So let's bring in ABC's Marcus Moore. And Marcus, the Iranian president, also says he wants to strengthen ties with Hamas.
Yeah, and Mary, while this wasn't Iran's supreme leader saying this was still a concerning statement from Iran's president, who's quoted as saying, "We are in a full-scale war with America, Israel, and Europe. They do not want our country to stand on its feet." And this is notable for a couple of reasons. Certainly the timing. It comes just before Prime Minister Netanyahu is set to meet with President Trump tomorrow, and it follows that unprecedented military action over the summer when Israel and the United States coordinated to attack Iran's nuclear program. So a lot could come from tomorrow's meeting, not only on the Iran issue, but also efforts to move to phase 2 of the ceasefire in Gaza. So as this meeting nears and the new year approaches, Mary, it is certainly clear that tensions remain high in the region.
As of December the 29th, 2025, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has stated that Iran is in a full-fledged or total war with the United States, Israel, and Europe. While this is a significant escalation in rhetoric, it is not a formal legal declaration of military war, but rather a description of the current multifaceted pressure Iran is facing. The president clarified that he views the current situation as a war because of the economic, cultural, political, and security sieges imposed by the West. In comparison to past conflict, he described this modern pressure as more complex and difficult than the 1988 Iran-Iraq War, which killed over 1 million people. These remarks follow a 12-day military conflict in June 2025, during which the US and Israel conducted strikes on Iranian nuclear and military targets, resulting in nearly 1,100 deaths in Iran. The Iranian president asserted that Iran's military is now stronger than it was before the June strikes and warned of a more decisive response to any further attacks. A decisive response, brother. The statement comes just ahead of a scheduled meeting between US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss Iran and regional security. Neither the US nor Iran has formally declared war in constitutional or legal sense. In the US, only Congress has the power to declare war though presidents often engage in military actions without such a decision. So we in a time of war, brother. All praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kodash, and double honor to mighty judges, the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Achaean worldwide that are sincere and serious doing the will of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kodash. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 1 and 2 to you all. Stay strong, stay mighty. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So we are not in a time of peace. We are definitely in a time of war because if you don't know, Donald Trump struck Iran. No, I'm sorry, Venezuela as well.
Major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs, so we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
So they hit Venezuela as well. So yeah, like our Lord said,
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs.
Our Lord said it's a time of war and a time of peace. We're in a time of war. We are in a time of war, right? We are in a time of war.
Overseas now to an ominous declaration by Iran, that country's president saying it's at, quote, total war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe.
Iran's president is claiming his country is at war with the West ahead of a high-profile meeting between US President Donald Trump and Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian says his country is being besieged at all sides by the U.S., Israel, and Europe. In an interview published on Saturday by Iranian state media, Pezeshkian says they are putting us in difficulty and constraint, creating problems in terms of livelihood, culturally, politically, and security-wise. On one side, they block our sales, our exchanges, our trade, and on the other side, expectations in society have risen. Consequently, we must all help with all our might to fix the country. Pezeshkian says the current situation is more complex than his country's war with Iraq in the 80s, as it faces pressure from every angle. Yet he remains defiant, saying Iran has emerged more united after its 12-day war with Israel back in June. That conflict ended with the U.S. striking 3 Iranian nuclear sites. But Israel is reportedly worried Iran is rapidly rebuilding and expanding its ballistic missile program, and they're considering striking the country again. It's a topic that could come up when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meets with President Trump tomorrow.
We obliterated their nuclear facilities, but we did not obliterate their desire to have a...
You hear how proud he's speaking? We obliterated the nuclear facilities. Huh? The pride that they have deceived him, man. Huh?
Have they tried to open up enrichment in other areas? I think they may have. Are they trying to rebuild their ballistic missile force to overwhelm the Iron Dome? I believe they are.
A White House spokesperson tells the Wall Street Journal, as President Trump has said, if Iran pursued a nuclear weapon, that site would be attacked and would be wiped out before they even got close. Pezeshkian is warning of a decisive response if Israel does decide to strike.
See? So we definitely in a time of war. Trump, Netanyahu to meet as Iran's president claims his country is at war. So this is going to involve Russia, my brother. See?
President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are scheduled to meet face-to-face today at Mar-a-Lago down in Florida. This comes amid fragile moments in the Middle East. The delicate ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is holding, and now Iran's president claims his country is at war with the United States and Israel. ABC's Perry Russum is in Washington.
A high-stakes meeting today in Mar-a-Lago. President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meeting face-to-face as Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian says his country is in a full-scale war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe, claiming all three do not want Iran to stand on its own feet. Netanyahu this morning meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Tension between Israel and Iran has been simmering since the attacks on Iran's nuclear facilities over the summer. Back in June, Israel and Iran exchanging attacks before the U.S. got involved. President Trump ordering the attack on 3 nuclear facilities in Iran using bunker-buster bombs. At first, Trump claimed the facilities had been destroyed, but U.S. intelligence now believes Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium and its centrifuges were not eliminated. Iran's president says his military is now stronger than it was during that attack. Israel's delicate ceasefire in Gaza is expected to be another major topic for Trump and Netanyahu to discuss. The ceasefire is broadly holding. It's still in its first of 3 proposed phases. Details of the second phase have not yet been agreed to. Even with the ceasefire, there have been sporadic attacks between Israel and Hamas. Israel is also carrying out strikes in Lebanon. The IDF says they are attacking terrorists. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
See? So we in the time of war, brother. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So yeah. Our Lord warned us about this here, big man. See? Yeah, man. So hey, God halal Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? Key point the Lord said. Um, don't be troubled by these things, right? See that ye be not troubled. See? Go on.